Hey guys, so I want to talk about the whole Diddy situation and being raided. And I honestly am not surprised that his kids are getting arrested. And the reason why, because like, okay, we all know what happened with like Winter in the whole situation with that son, right? But I always was like, Quincy's like too accepting of him. One, two, Quincy has a dad. So why is Diddy being so close with him? Like that always made me uncomfortable. Now, I personally thought like Quincy may be like scared of him because the way he's like overly praising him and stuff, like that makes me feel like he's scared of him. Cause I mean, we all know what he allegedly did to his mom, and he wanted to protect his younger sisters, right? And I'm just saying that it really did look like Quincy was afraid of him, but I'm not saying that like if he did anything that justifies it. No, but what I'm saying he really did look like he was like afraid of that man. Um and when it comes to like I'm so happy Diddy's getting taken down because like you don't get to hurt people for years, man. Like as someone who's like a victim of my, being in similar situations, um I'm just so happy that it's being taken seriously. I'm so happy that someone's getting justice because we don't all get justice. You know what I mean? And I think that needs to change. But I heard that allegedly Diddy has ties to the FBI, and he was like, what's the word? He was tipped off. Yeah, I do see that because a lot of law enforcement are involved oftentimes. Like in my case, the law enforcement were involved, but like they were low level law enforcement. But Diddy got money. You know what I mean? Like in my case, the law enforcement were like everyday police officers or like maybe the chief of a certain or a lieutenant, whatever. But it's just like I don't know. I just don't get it. Like my thing is that this whole need for power. You're rich. Why do you want to take it that far? Like you're already rich. Like you already have power. Like you already have prestige. Why do all these extra things to people? Just like hurting them. Same thing with Dan Schneider. Like you have power. Like you are literally you create TV shows. Why do you have to gain power if the people will say it's for power? That's why they do these things. But they have power. You know what I mean? Like in my case, I can see that, right? These people have nothing. Like they're like, and I'm not talking about like everyday, like regular people. No, these people were like, the like for lack of a better words, the bottom of society. They weren't really, well-to-do people, even in the sense of just like regular, everyday to day people. So I could understand them. Well, the cops were, so they were like, You're well. What do you? Why would you want power from this? I don't get it. Like you what do you gain from that? I just don't get it. People are like, oh, when people do stuff like this, it's all about power, but it's like they already have power. Like, how much power does one person need? Like, it's like I don't get it. Like, it's sadistic, obviously, right? Like they're narcissistic, they're sadistic, but I just will never understand it. I will never get it. Especially they always, well, in my case, it seems like they go after people who don't want that. Like the same thing with Cassie, or the same thing with like all these other people. They go after people who don't want that. Like there is people who willingly want that, right? And I'm not justifying it, but they that's their business, right? Like they enjoy these things. But a lot of times they don't want those people. They want people who don't want it, so like they can like conquer them. And it's just I have my own opinions on that. Where I feel like a lot of these people were never like they're competing with the top, and the only way they can feel power is to hurt like innocent people, people who are like just not of that lifestyle, so they don't, you know what I mean? Like a manipulative person probably won't want to be around another manipulative person. Like they might respect that person and be in love with that person, but they're gonna want access to like innocent people because they get off on like the deepest delight. And it just disgusts me. On another topic, Amanda Bynes, man, oh my goodness. relatable because I went through like a little mental breakdown myself. But I wouldn't feel like I was breaking down, but other people probably thought I was. I was starting to speak on stuff, but wasn't putting names. I was just like, it's just crazy how people think that someone was avoiding the conversation of what happened to me, and I was actively trying to get them to have that conversation with me. And like, I started ranting about it online, and people can assume that you're going crazy, but how is like Amanda Bynes telling her story going crazy? Because she like changed her hair color. Like people don't understand that when you've been like preyed on like that, you want to make yourself seem unattractive. Not to say that Amanda Bynes like is like, you know what I mean, but like Britney shaved her hair, or like people will seem like, oh, they're making themselves seem less attractive. That is a natural thing that people do when they've been preyed on. I did it. Everyone, like not everyone, but most of us do it. It's natural, and it's like cognitive dissonance is just beating the heck out of the society as a whole. I was gonna say America, but society as a whole. Like y'all can know this equals this and this equals this, but you know what? I'm not gonna correlate the two. Like, oh, I know it's a known fact that victims of SA and trafficking do this, right? But I'm not. I'm not gonna correlate the two because why is she doing it? She must just be crazy. Like, grow up. Like, oh my god, I hate people like that. But then again, that's not the regular one of us. It's like those are people who are low key okay with that, but they don't want to say they're okay with it. They just want to pretend. Or people like it was a particular person. I didn't even say this person's name because I just ugh. But they're in the industry, right? And they were shaming Amanda Bynes and calling it like, oh, she's just erratic. But this person also used to work for Disney. And my thing is, you want a job so bad that you're willing to pretend these things don't happen just so you can be okay, just so you can be financially good, just so you can go along and get along. And I would never respect someone like that. It's disgusting. By the way, I'm painting, so if you hear that in the background, but it's oh my goodness, like it bothers me so bad. Like you're grown and you're like you choose money over safety. My thing is like the idea of a Nickelodeon or a Disney or any other production company, right, is like amazing. Like you're being bringing art to life. But why do you have to like do it the way people are doing it? Like why take that and then take advantage of people? Why what like I don't get it. Like I'll never get it right because I'm not like that. But it's just like these people are gonna always seek out these type of like careers. You know what kind of irritated me a little bit is when that lady said that Dan Shiner had Arrested Development. Because it's like, yeah, but like, what is like that have to do with you going after people who are like not adults? You know what I mean? Non-adults. What? And not to say, like, I know it correlates, but like it doesn't justify. So it kind of annoyed me. But yeah, no, this just the whole thing irritates me. I just hope Quincy didn't do anything to like hurt other people. But like obviously, like we don't know what these people do. You know what I mean? And I know what I believe was her story of what happened to her with the other boy. I forgot his name. I think he's the junior, right? Let me look up P Diddy's kids. Poor Cassie though. Like I get it. Like the thing is, people will be like, "Oh, well, why does she want money?" Because you know how hard it is to work with CPTSD. Do you know how hard it is to work when you constantly have intrusive thoughts and you dissociate? Like people are so sick in the head. But honestly, again, anybody who justifies that, they're like that, and I don't care how anyone feels about it. It doesn't show his kids on here, but they said that there's a lot more people who's about to get exposed. Some people, some, I guess his name's King. Oh yeah, King. What King did to Winter, like them forcing her to get a I'm not gonna say that, but to no longer have her baby. Because that's like insane. And I don't think that it would have been safe for her to have one in that, but also you like forcing somebody to do that is like crazy. Like it's her body. Who do you think you are? Like oh my god, all of it just irritates me so bad. I feel so bad for Drake's dad. Like that, he wanted to protect his son. And that's the thing about these monsters, man. You can't like they will go every link to hurt or to get what they want. And that scares me about having like babies because it's like I don't want to bring them into a world like this, man. Like I don't want to bring them into this world where I constantly have to fear that something's gonna happen to them or people are constantly preying on them. Like that's why dads are important in life because men don't like to men in them they're you notice how like he didn't want to do that crap around Drake's dad because Drake's dad was not going for it, but he manipulated Drake's mom or whatever. Like that is irritating me because the dad's like, don't leave him alone with that man. Like no money is worth that. No money is worth that. And you know what's crazy? People will say to me like, "Oh, don't you want to be famous?" All men are like that. Oh, don't pay them no mind. Like, what? He's a weirdo, and you know he's a weirdo, and then you're trying to manipulate me into thinking it's okay, and it's not. And women do this too. Absolutely. I made a video about like the things women have said to me. Well, my one of my abusers said to me, but I'm gonna play it here because I don't like it's like a up close video and it like looks awkward to me. We're gonna talk about. I think I'm gonna start with my house. The police aren't gonna help you because you're X-rays. Everyone's parents does this. She would say all type of random stuff. Just let me do it. Why won't you let me? If I was a man, you would let me. These people know what they're doing. Um, so they're not gonna stop. They're not. So sorry guys. Thank you. That's literally so true. Like that. Like that's like what I made. I made that video the other day. It was raining, but they're not gonna stop. Like they know what they're doing. I know that for a fact. Like, I know in my case, they oh my god, like they thought it was funny. Like they would do that shit in front of people and think that it was funny, and no one said anything. Or look, don't get me wrong, people did say anything, but majority of people they would keep around like other criminals, so they laughed at it. I remember defending myself because one of them grabbed my chest and someone someone got in and they all jumped on me for defending myself. And I'm like, how could you sit there and let it happen? So like, so what? So what? You don't get to fight back. Like, and y'all think that I'm gonna pretend like that shit didn't happen? Like, you people are fucking sick, man. People are nasty as hell. And y'all want to keep messaging me and pretending like keeping up this facade. I remember they looked at me and I was like, "Would you ever let me watch your kid?" And like that smirk, like you're sick. Oh my goodness, I can't even say what I want to say on here because I don't YouTube so strict. But it's like they knew what they were doing, and they got off on that. Like imagine being, and I will say this, like you're sick. Imagine being so sick and everyone around them will try to like shut up, you don't talk. Like, y'all are all like that. Y'all can pretend and put on this facade that you're a good person, but y'all are all like that. And people around Drake, people around Amanda, people around Jesse McCurdy, people around all of those other kids, they were like that. They knew what was going on. They allowed it to happen. I had my own experiences with like the entertainment industry and the stuff that has been said to me of like, oh yeah, you're gonna be my special little friend. Or, I mean, don't you want your own TV show? Like, ew. Like, it's disgusting. And then when it brings like race into it, like, let's be real, there is a people will like try to use that against you, like, oh well, no one's gonna help you because like you're mixed. Like, but that's not true. And people of all races can be hurt like this. I'm just, oh, it irritates me so bad. Like, oh my god. And everyone's always like, go to therapy, but therapy is not accessible to all people. Like in my state, it's really hard to get like a therapist that like doesn't want out of pocket because of how insurance works here. It's like, oh my goodness, it's so agitating. And the thing is like, how ever notice how like abusers always triangulate you with like other people, right? No matter your age, right? So like them pitting Alexa and what's that girl's name? What's the Britney Spears youngster's name? Jesse? Jamie. Jamie Lynn. My thing, okay, Jamie Lynn is wrong and she needs to really apologize, just like Britney did. But as children, right? Let's just talk. They literally pit them against each other. They allow her to bully that girl and act like it's okay because they're abusers too. Like I remember having a teacher like that. Like she would allow people to like attack me, but when I fought back, I got in trouble because her husband was like a P and he was a PDF file and he will always try to yell at me to come to his car and I'm like I looked at her one day the first time it happened I really didn't think nothing of it but well no I did I was like that's kind of weird I was like wait I looked at her I was like isn't that your husband and she was like don't say anything to my husband I was like I wasn't going to he keeps screaming for me to go to his car and she was like you know what you're doing I'm walking past a school and your husband is screaming at me I look at you for help and you sit there and say I know what I'm doing these people are insane. And not only are they insane, they enable because they are like that too. Because that woman started a hate campaign with other teachers against me. And other kids saw it happening. Like they saw it happening. It was also a teacher there, a basketball coach and a teacher. I don't know what he taught, but he didn't teach my grade. It's not the grade below me, and he tried to corner me in like the mid. It's like where two parts of our school connect, but it's like an outside area. He tried to corner me to where other kids had to come and help me, but no one said anything. That's what kills me. Like, don't get me wrong. I appreciate those kids to this day. Like they came and helped me because he was like cornering me and like not saying that he would just like staring me down. And everyone was like joking, like, oh, he likes you, he likes you. And I'm like, why are y'all acting like that's okay? And they told me to grow up. I'm like, why is like you guys are so and I literally said that to them, like, you guys are so mentally like messed up to where you think that this is normal. You think this is a normal behavior, and it's not. And no one can explain that to them because like they're so messed up and now that they're older like I know they probably look back or try to avoid it I know a lot of them have like addiction issues because they went like I came into an environment where this was normalized you know what I mean like I came into an environment where people were this was the regular there was 12-year-olds getting pregnant by 30-year-olds and everybody was okay with it and I'm just like it was also like that was happening to boys too. Like I made a story about my friend. I'm not gonna say their name because that's their story to tell. But I remember a grown 24-year-old woman trying to come get him, and I was the only one to call it out. And it was like, "You need to grow up. Age is just a number." And I was like, "You are not even in high school." Like, I don't agree with it at high school either, but you were literally in the 6th grade, and this grown woman is coming, and then her mom's talking to me like, I think it's wrong too, but if I don't drive her, she'll drive a car alone, and she's gonna get it taken because she doesn't have a license. And I'm like, so you're just gonna bring her just because she'll do it anyway? She's like, well, what do you want me to do? I think it's wrong too, but it's like I call her sick. It's like that woman did not care. Like, she kept doing it, and her mother felt like she couldn't do anything because she didn't want to lose her car. I'm like, call the cops. She's like, I can't call the cops on my own kid. And then she told me she tried to, but I don't know if that's true, but maybe it is. But she said that she tried to and they didn't do anything. And it just like, part of me is like, is that because like my friend was like Hispanic? You know what I mean? Like, I'm a mixed kid, he's Hispanic. They didn't feel like they really cared. Like, the people in that neighborhood thought I was Hispanic. They didn't really feel like they cared. Like, I remember having people say, "Oh, that's what you're made for," and that's so ignorant. But it's like, they're low lives. I don't expect much from them. You know what I mean? Like, people knew what I was going through. Like, they absolutely knew because they would throw it in my face. They'd be like they knew I was being like what I was going through because like the stuff they would say to me was just evil. Like, and everybody was okay with it. That's what really gets me is like everybody was okay with it happening to me. I don't understand that. Like, I really don't, because I would never be okay with that happening to somebody, especially when they don't want that lifestyle, especially at that age. Because what, like, and the thing was, there were people, and mind you, this was me, like at the same age as them, right? Who were into that, and I was like, well, I try to protect you, but if you don't want it, I can't do anything. But my thing is, why aren't you going with the people who want it versus me, who does not want anything to do with this? It was like the fixation was like I didn't want them. And I never understood that. Like, leave me alone. There are people who are throwing themselves at you. Why are you bothering me? Like, I never understood it. Like, and I would say to them, like, you want power so bad that you never had it. And you think that this makes you powerful. It doesn't. It makes you weak and disgusting because you're praying with someone who's weaker than you. And they even admitted, like, oh, well, I can't do it to you when you're older, so I gotta do it to you now. The crackhead, yeah, he said that to me. He wasn't a crackhead at the time, though. He was full aware of what he was doing. And he did that. They didn't stop. Like, they didn't care. And I hate this whole trope of like, oh, abuse victims become abusers. Like, grow up. No, it's not an excuse for what you're doing. Like, I would never want to abuse anyone. I don't even want them around me half the damn time. Look like abusing somebody because you want power over the situation. Like, you're an idiot. Like, I'm pretty sure my abusers were victims. Well, I know for certain two of them. Well, all three, the main ones, all three of them were because, okay, there was the mother and daughter, and then there was the daughter's husband, right? The the husband, the crackhead, he grew up with hippie parents who alwaid took him to band fest, and they would get cracked out, blasted out of their mind, and passed out. We all know what probably went down at this band fest. That does not justify what he did to me. You know what I mean? When it comes to, and then there's the whole fixation. I want to piggyback off that for a second, because when I was being like harassed by these people, they'd be like, "Oh, when I was in school, girls like you didn't like me," and I was like, "And I still don't." Leave me alone. Like, I don't care what you went through in your childhood. I don't care. Leave people alone. Um, but so like the woman, the daughter, Corella, we're gonna call her Corella, she her mother was like that. So of course it happened to her, right? Like her mother was the first person who I remember doing something like that to me. So of course it happened to her. You know what I mean? Like, but that doesn't give you the right to do it to someone else. And she was like, everyone's like that. And I was like, no, they're really not. You're just disgusting. And like that woman was insane. Like, she literally was like crying, sobbing, like, why don't you want me? And I'm a non-adult. And I'm talking like a really early non-adult. I have to be careful how the way I word stuff because of YouTube, but yeah, like, and then she fixed her mouth and say she's not a PDF file because she looked it up when I got older because I wasn't like that age anymore. But I still was a non-adult. Shit. Oh my god, these people are insane. But yeah, like I know it probably happened to her. Well, in 9 times out of 10, it's like there's no way it didn't happen to her because I remember her like saying, alluding to it, and I was just like the first time her mother, we'll call her Ursula, did that to me. She was like, "You said you would stop that." So clearly, that woman has a pattern of doing it, and it happened to her. You know what I mean? Like but that doesn't give you the right to do it to someone else. It's like based off the things she said over the years, she wanted me. In her eyes, it wasn't fair. In her words, that I got to have a life if she didn't. She said that. She openly said it, and that's what I feel like also correlates to like people on these productions allegedly, but they they want what these kids have, which is like stardom and fame and everybody to like swoon over them. But it's like instead of getting, because like come on, like, you're rich. People are gonna do that to you. Instead of using that, they want to be side by side with like the talent. I don't get that. Like you're an executive or you're like the creator. Like you're gonna have people swoon over you. Use why are you trying to, I don't get it. Like they want to live vicariously through these young people, or they want to attach themselves to these young people, or they want these people to view them as like partners, and that will never happen. Like they are not gonna view you as their, you know what I mean? Like they're equal almost. Like no. I feel like this correlates a lot to Peter Pan syndrome of like people just not wanting to grow up, and I don't really get that. Like I get like them wanting to be young, but like not wanting to grow up is like a whole different thing. Like you could be 25 and be young. You know what I mean? I don't do these live because like I'm still like too shy to do it. It makes me like awkward. I don't know, but it's just it really gets me how like when you correlate everything together, like the things I know personally because I always questioned it, things that these people would say. Like I was that kid who always questioned everything. Why are you doing this? Why are you harassing me? Like why am I being harassed? And like no one else is. Not that I wanted them to be harassed. I just didn't understand like why am I like your target? You know what I mean? Like because there was kids who were like, I guess you could say indoctrinated. Like they thought that that was okay. When I was also a kid, I'm like that didn't make sense to me. Like if one kid is like, it will stay the heck away from me, and one kid is like indoctrinated, why go after the kid who like wants nothing to do with you? Not that I wanted them to go after them either, because I thought at first like we could build an allegiance, we can all fight back. But those kids was like, girl, go to heck. No, I I want this money or I want, you know what I mean? Like they didn't care. They would tell me to grow up like, oh, they have money, just take the money. And I'm like, I want to be left alone. Like my peace, I don't want them near me. Like And it just kills me how they would tell me to grow up. Even the like adults would grow up as if like you are an adult and you're telling that to me. And I would scream my age at them and like, I don't want to hear your age. Like they literally were like, no, 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 don't say your age. And I'm just like, no, I'm gonna keep saying it. It makes you uncomfortable, doesn't it? Because it brings to light what you are. And everyone knows it. But y'all are acting like it's okay. And then like it was like everyone would gaslight me and like gang up on me because I was the one who called it out. And I feel like that's a lot with Alexa. People are mad that she's the one who's willing to call it out. Like just because you were willing to sit there and allow that to happen, not saying like if you're a kid, like that's your fault at all. But like just because she's not afraid to like speak up, and that's so hard to speak up. You want to like shame her or make her seem crazy because you're not willing to face the truth. Like you don't have to speak up. You don't have to say anything, but don't attack the person who's doing it. You're gonna say like, I hope you guys get what I'm saying. Like, I'm not saying like, hey, you have to speak up because I know how hard that is. But you also don't attack the one who is because you're afraid to face the truth. Like that's not right. Just stay silent. Like Ariana Grande, that girl went through a lot. You can see have video footage. And she's not speaking up. And I'm not blaming her because in her brain, she's probably like, the evidence is right there. You see what happened to me. That's how I felt for a very long time. Like, y'all know what's happening to me. But let's be real. Everyone sees it. And a lot of people tried to help me. But it's like by the time they tried to help me, like I knew that like that woman would go to no extent but to like hurt me. And then like, she had a lot of like powerful people on her side. So I was afraid. And I was also afraid for them. I'm not judging people for not speaking up. I hope that you do. I hope that you see that like we're more powerful together. But at the same time, if you're not going to speak up, do not attack the person who is. That's so sick. Like the Neds to classify people, I understand they said like that didn't happen to me, but that joke was disgusting. Like in like I don't like anything like our jokes or you know those jokes. I don't like that. Like the whole Tiffany Haddish thing. With that one guy. I don't like those kind of jokes. Like it's there's limits to jokes. Like, okay, race jokes, right? People joke about my race all the time. I to a limit they're funny, to a limit they're not, right? To like to a certain extent, I mean. But when it comes to like art stuff like that, that's where I'm like, I guess everyone's sensitive on something else, but I just feel like when it comes to that, that's not funny because like, I still have flashbacks every day. And I don't want and you know what's crazy? Uh the female abuser, like the daughter, Corella, the one I named Corella, she said that like I remember being outside of her Ursula's house and we were outside and she was like they were like mugging me and I'm telling you, I was like I don't know if I could say that on here, like my age, but I was very young, non-adult, okay? And they were like, "Oh, people, men are just gonna love you." And Cruella fixed him out. That was like, "Unless I change that." Like she wanted me to feel pain. And I never understood it. Like I didn't understand sadism, like sadistic tendencies. I didn't understand that. Like I knew it existed. Don't get me wrong. Not that age. Like I knew like oh people were evil or bad, but I didn't understand why. Like I thought people would change, and I think that's like the media making us feel like people could change. Like every fairy tale was like, oh, the villain becomes just uh, um a nice person at the end if you just give them enough patience. But that's not realistic with like narcissists or sadistic people. They can't change. And even if they could, like that has to be something they want. You can't change them. For a long time, I thought I could, but like you can't. I'm gonna get off of here because my asthma's messing up. But thank you if you listened. I hope we just keep pushing forward, and I hope these people get justice. I really hope Quincy has nothing to do with this, but if he does, then he needs to be like he needs to tell the truth and come clean because nothing like I know you're scared, but nothing's gonna happen. You're not gonna be able to be safe if you don't. So that's all I have to say. Bye, guys.